using the humblest and simplest of tools, combining textures and colors, fabrics and fiber. We tell the stories of our lives one stitch at a time. Welcome to Antique Needleworkers. Hello and welcome to Antique Needleworkers. My name is Shellie and this is my channel about cross stitch and all my crafty endeavors, and I'm so glad that you've joined me here today. If this is your first time here, I thank you so much for stopping by. I hope that while you're here that you will find some type of inspiration in your making, and if you're a longtime subscriber, I thank you for coming time and time again. Well, hello my friends. I am so sorry that it has been a gap in time between our filmings. I'll fill you in on all those things as we go about the day today and I talk to you, and you'll understand, but I do apologize. I hate when there's too much of a gap between the times that we join here together. I have a whole lot of stuff. I have a whole lot of whips. I have a new release. I'm celebrating a year as a designer, and I have a whole lot of things to show you that I've purchased. And so I think what I'll do is do a little catch up with you for a minute and tell you what I've been up to and all the in-between since I saw you last time. I'll show you my new release, and then I will show you my whips, and then we'll get into the acquisitions, and yeah, that'll be our roundup today. That's if I stay on par, you know, we'll see how that goes. Okay, since the last time I saw you, as you can tell, I'm back in the Ohio studio, and so I was at the Florida house the last time I saw you, and since I have been home, it has been a whirling dervish. I had told you about how my husband had built on to his big race garage and how there was all kind of stuff going on, and they had to do some adjustments to their race schedules, and as a matter of fact, I am filming today, and it is the 21st. What day is it? It's the 20, let me see, what day is it? It's the 22nd. I'm so sorry. But my husband, his schedule only had 2 races in it, but then someone needed to change the schedule because they had some discrepancies. And so this is the 3rd race weekend that we have had here in his race garage. The diner is 98% done. I have done it the way I've done it before, running back and forth between the main house kitchen and the mill house kitchen, but had a little bit of relief. It's really, really neat out there. That little piece of information is why the For the Guys video has not been produced. I did not want to film until everything was in its place. And now, even though the ice maker's not here, and little things like that, but other than that, everything is done in there, and then that way you can see a good piece of what it looks like. So do ready the gentlemen, because it's For the Guys, race cars and slot cars and muscle cars garage tour will be coming this hopefully this week. I'm going to actually be kind of on here a little more than normal. I have a new release today. The reason why I'm only releasing one is because the second one I'm waiting on, the threads haven't arrived, and I want to make sure, I've been trying to make sure that I have items for you to kit up right when you buy off my website, and so those have not come. I'm really excited. I'm going to tell you about that release. I'm not going to show it to you, but the release that I'm going to do today is because yesterday on the 21st was Antique Needleworkers Design's 1-year anniversary. Can you believe, I can't believe that a year ago I sat here and told my secret. And so I did something to celebrate that, and I'm going to show you that today. But so the race garage has had me hopping. I have been out there and helping him and I love encouraging his hobby because he's so supportive of mine. And so, you know, you got to help where necessary. And I do enjoy to go out and help with the, you know, preparing and having food for all the gentlemen. I love to watch them race. And so, yeah, that's been going on. But I am going to produce that video for you. Haven't done that yet. So, but you'll be more appreciative because you'll get to see, he has a sign that goes over the diner section and it says diner. Did you know that Red Robin was a single entity Red Robin diner? He bought the sign from the original one, it says diner in neon. Very neat. The Neon Museum in Cincinnati, they help him with all of his neon, and he did have to replace the neon on that, but that sign came off the original Red Robin. How neat is that? Then there's a hamburger sign that takes up a whole wall, and it says hamburger, and it was on an old Pennsylvania hamburger joint, and they came out and neoned it this week. It's just so fun. I will say, as far as that goes, I'm a little disappointed, not so much, but a little disappointed. One of my cars has been transported up to our dealership. My husband owns a Chevrolet dealership, and so he takes part of his muscle cars and he'll put them in the showrooms because it gives a lot of eye candy for people when they're coming to buy a car. And so he was rotating cars, and he was going to send his truck up there, and I can't wait to show you this. It's one of my favorite pieces. He custom did this truck. It's a 45 or a 47, and it has the badge for the Air Force on the back. It's got stars down the side. It's painted, but it looks like raw metal, and it's patriotic. It has a big motorcycle in the back that my husband custom made, and all this stuff. And he was going to transport the truck, and I said, no, I need to make my video, and you've got to leave her here because she's so beautiful. So he sent my Camaro up, and I said, doggone it, it's my video. My Camaro should be here. So anyway, he has a Z28 that looks like my Camaro sitting in the same spot. But anyway, I digress. You know, little details, who cares? But anyway, so that's been going on. As well, last week, he had his race on Friday, but Saturday, I welcomed the baby group ministry that I lead to the house twice a year. I do what I call a summer soiree and a winter soiree, where all of the ladies come that can make it, and I feed them a wonderful meal, and we spend the day as a cohesive group together. There's about 90 members of the group, and we have meetings on 2 sides of town, so it's the north and the south, northern group and southern group. But so that way they're all together in one place twice a year and can be encouraged by one another. And so I hosted that last Saturday, and 40 or 50 women were here, and it was just a blessing and a half. Love that. So on top of work and on top of play, I had all that going on. So that has been what has entertained my attention and kept me from you, but I'm so glad to be back here with you today. I miss y'all when I'm not on here because I love your comments and the emails and all the things. And so yeah, I want to put a little, give a little shout out to Rose Heck really quick because I don't want to forget. Rose was the winner of some pins in a prior video back, I think 2 videos ago. Rose, I sent your pins to you, but they came back to me. And so I'm not exactly sure what the problem was. It did not say wrong address. It didn't say anything like that. It just was sent back to me. So I'm going to go back through and send it to you. Many apologies. This does not happen very often. I think I've had less than a handful of sendbacks, but Rose, I'm so sorry your pins haven't arrived. Let's try this again. So I'm going to send those back out. Those came back unexpectedly in the post yesterday. So many apologies, Rose. We're going to try this again. Sorry, I don't know how come that happened. Okay, so I had said that yesterday was a year, August 21st of 2024. I came on here and I told you that I had been keeping a secret and that I had been designing, and I have spent the last year with you doing that, and oh my gosh, it moves me to tears. I'm really gonna have a hard time not tearing up with talking about this, because the support that I have received and the encouragement, people have just so embraced me in doing this. And I have said repeatedly, I never knew God was going to open that door in my life. And I never knew that I'd be doing this. I never knew I would be designing it. These are just things that I love, that were who I am and what I did. And you just never know what a day holds. And I am so thrilled to be here. I feel it's such an exhilaration. And even when I'm a little stressed because I'm trying to get something done, the stress even is a joy to me. And so I'm so thrilled and thankful to each and every one of you who has embraced Antique Needleworkers designs. And because of that, I kept thinking, I want to create something that expresses how I feel about you. So I created a design, and it is called Grateful, Thankful, Blessed. And this is my newest release, which will be on my website today and in my Etsy shop. It is called Grateful, Thankful, Blessed. It has been stitched on 40 count Weeks Dye Works straw using Classic Colorworks Belle Soie silk in the color Cranberry. I used a lot of symbolism in this, you know, the swan, which is fidelity, deep friendship, deep love, the crown and the heart, because you guys are the queens of my heart when I think about you, and hearts and flowers, because you're the flowers in my garden. And so I created this as a tribute to you and for what you've meant to me and what you have done in encouraging my design company. So I give to you Grateful, Thankful, Blessed. And as I said, in this, in a band of eternity. So I graciously considered each and every element of this as I designed it, and you were in mind. And I am so grateful and so thankful and so blessed in each and every one of you. You will find this on the website. You can get a hard copy or a PDF. You can find it in the Etsy shop for the international shoppers as a PDF. On the website, I will have the fabric and the Belle Soie for you. And this, back in the spring when I did the retreat, I started to remodel the look of my patterns. And so you're gonna see my new pattern. I did, for all the retreat pieces that I did for Prairie Moon, I used this. And so this is going to be the first time you see the remake of my my look, I guess that you could say. And so this is what Antique Needleworkers' new workup will be for my pattern designs. Of course, it looks antique with the scrolls and my logo and all of that. And what I wanted to move to was my pattern jackets. I don't want to take away from my designs, so I tried to do something fresh and crisp And so I designed this so that it shows off the pattern and it doesn't get lost in all the fluff. So I hope that you like that, and it gives a lot of room for the designs to sing. And so this is the new pattern jackets. I will be following suit when I do my books and my cards. I probably will be doing full bleeds to continue, like with the BE series. The cards will continue. I changed the colors so that they convey with the design. But yeah, this is the new look that I put together, and I test ran it in Prairie Moon, and I asked their opinions. Did they like that? And everybody agreed that they felt like it gave opportunity to show the design off. So this is the first design on the new pattern jackets. And yeah, and so this is available today. I did want to go back and review a couple designs that I released this summer. At the beginning of the summer, I released Summer Biscornio, and this is the pattern jacket I was talking about. Like on a full bleed book, I'm still going to probably follow suit with that. Maybe, maybe not, but 100% on the cards. But anyway, if you haven't seen the Summer Biscornu, here it is, and it's still available on my website. Spring Biscornu is there, but spring is the pattern only. But Summer Biscornu, I still have pins. I still have silk packs, I still have linen and Aida, and I still have DMC if you choose DMC instead of a silk. So those are still available. That all, you know, my patterns are always going to be in perpetuity available on my website. But I did want to remind that that was there because next month, I've already done, it's already going in Needlework Retailer magazine. I've already got fall photographed. Everything's all ready for you. That's going to be out in a couple weeks, and I'm really excited about it. It is my interpretation of fall, and sampler lovely, fallicious is all I'm going to tell you. So, but if you haven't caught up, this is spring. This is summer. Spring is available. It was in a blue and a green. And speaking of this pattern, I'm going to be showing you in my whips. I had done the freebie that is Friend, and it is on the website. And if you get Summer Biscornu and you get the threads for it, Friend was designed to accompany this, and Friend is free. Look in the free chart section. And if you get a thread pack, you have enough thread to do both pieces. So I wanted to remind you of that. Let me set this to the side before I start knocking things off. And then I had released Be Ye Creative, which is the newest in the Be Ye series. This is pattern number 7. Yes, it is 7. There will be 12. I've had that asked before. I hadn't made a definitive decision, but I have. We are going to finish at 12. I will be doing one more Be Ye before the end of the year. I'll give you a heads up. It's Be Ye a Friend. And but I hope that you're excited to see what that'll look like. And then in 2026, I will do one Be Ye a quarter, which will round out the last 4, and then the Be Ye series will be finished. But in the meantime, all of us, who doesn't love a tomato? And so in our scissors and our needles and thimbles and all of those things. And so I created this in honor of our creativity. Be Ye Creative. I still on the website. I have linen and Aida. I have the bit of blings that Jersey Girl Stitch Co. created for the pattern. And I still have thread packs. So if you haven't grabbed the newest Be Ye Creative, check that on the website while you're out there checking out the new release today. And while I'm right there, I'm just going to tell you about the release. I'm not going to show it to you. I'm just going to let this marinate. You know, I have talked to you about Timbo's shop, which is in Brisbane, Australia. Jude and his father, Timbo, and their beautiful family have a wonderful shaker box business. They also do other types of custom boxes. And when I did Be Ye Loyal, the mom, Kim, hi Kim, She stitched Be Ye Loyal, and she mounted it on a new prototype box that they had created. I think at the beginning they were calling it the Secrets box, but they were getting ready to go to a retreat, and I think they took the box with them. She put my Be Ye Loyal on there, and when I saw it, I fell in love with it, and immediately I said, oh, I have an original design that I want to create. I see it in my head. And so I partnered with Timbo's, and they supplied me with a box. And I created a custom design to go right on top of that. And when the threads come in, I can't wait to show it to you. So don't miss a video or a post, because you will want to see that. I'm very proud of it. I'm very proud of all the designs that I create. I feel so blessed that that God just allows me to be creative, and that you're even interested in that. It blows me away, but I'm just really excited about it. So those are the summer releases, my newest release, and my next upcoming release. Okay, well, I'm going to show you something really quick, and then we're going to get right into all my whips. I will tell you I have cross stitch whips. I will show you those first. I did a little knitting, I did some crocheting, and I've done a sundry amount of quilting. And so anyway, I'm going to, some on machine and some by hand, and I'm going to show you that. But in the meantime, the first thing I want to show you is I had showed you on my last video that I did some embroidery work for a gift to my daughter. I had bought the beautiful rose pattern from the Stitchery in the UK. Sean, the periwinkle stitcher, has just totally enabled all of us that are multi-crafters and love to stitch all kind of things. And I have bought a bunch of stuff more, and even bought some classes from the Stitchery since then. But I had told you that I was going to mount the piece that I had showed you in last video into a beautiful box from the old Colonial box company, my sweet precious friends Kelly and Adam Rivers. I have not mounted it. I stuck it in place because I wanted to give you a view of what I was talking about. And plus I want to show off their beautiful box. And I will have a link for them in my show notes, as well as Timbo's as well, because there are some amazing artisans out there. And where Timbo's is really specialized in shaker boxes and dovetail boxes and all of those things, these boxes, well, Old Colonial does dovetail boxes and all kinds of this, but the burl boxes are the ones, whoo, they make my heart sing. And so I took this beautiful Old Colonial burl box, and this is just sitting in the top of it. I haven't officially mounted it, but I wanted you to see this is the box that my Erin's birthday gift. I don't think she watches my videos. I hope not, but I haven't mounted it. I put it on a ruler and shoved it in the hole for you, and then put a piece of board behind it. But I wanted you to see just how beautiful Adam's boxes are. And this is what I'm mounting in there. Now, the reason why it's not mounted yet, it's just sitting in this box. I need you to tell me in the comments what you think. But I'm considering using the sagey green of the leaf work of this embroidery piece, and cross stitching a beautiful scrolly E for Erin, that's my daughter's name, into the heart. What do you think about that? Or should I leave it plain? Or should I use one of this is actually 3 different colors of pink, and they look almost white and peachy. They're peachy pinks, but if I showed you the thread, you would say, oh my goodness. But until they're laid down together, they almost look whitish peachy. I had talked to you, and a lot of you chimed in, and I'm really excited because I had showed you that I had tatted this piece. And I said I thought I would velveteen the inside of the box. Now, of course, it's not done. Do look at how beautiful this box is on the inside. But if you want to look at this, I have chosen some velveteen. It matches that green almost absolutely perfectly. That's in the outside. I am taking your advice, and I'm going to cover the mounting hole with the velveteen, but I'm going to stitch the tatted piece onto the inside. I think my idea that you agreed with, it sounds great. What do you think? Tell me what you think in the comments. Tell me what you think of the box. Tell me what you think of how things are come along. Should I put Aaron's initial in the middle of it? Should it be one of these colors or the green? I was thinking the green. But doesn't the box just pick up the beautiful colors of that? Oh, so pretty. Anyway, I thought I'd show you that because I need your advice a little bit. I love it when you chime in. Okay, let's get into some whips here. Okay, first whip that we will get into while I was in Florida, I showed on social media. I had gone to my local needlework shop down there, the Crafty Framer. And I've talked about Arlene Cohen, Works by ABC, a lot. She's a sweet, precious friend. I picked up her design, exquisite lace there. I had gone to Stitch Group when I was at my Florida house because I was invited to come by Jenny Massini. Hi, Jenny. Jenny had surgery. I've been praying for you. I hope you're totally recovered. But she had invited me and a sweet lady, Jane, that was there. She had finished Arlene's piece and it was stunning. And I was like, you know, that's one of Arlene's pieces that I have loved for so long. I need to go ahead and stitch that. So while I went over to the Crafty Framer, first of all, I want to tell you that Jane stitched exquisite lace on a beautiful green, and she stitched it 1/1, and it was on a Lugana, and I wanted to take the exact route as her because it just was so beautiful. And I got there, and when I did, I was looking at some fabrics and I found a beautiful fabric. This fabric is called Christmas Night. I believe it's by Atomic Ranch. It is a 28 count Lugana, and I have a little start, but look at that color and look how that lace pattern is going to look on that. Just a little start. I worked on it while I was at the Florida house. I have not returned to it. It's staying in the basket of these are the things I'm stitching on. I have in my office, you know, I've got the project library over here that I've really got to go through because I think there's a whole lot of things that I need to maybe share with you because there's only so much time in the day and in life for me to finish things with designing and stuff like that. And so I've really honed down. I'm not a monogamous stitcher. I'm never going to be a monogamous stitcher. But I have a basket and I've been very good. Now, normally I used to run back and forth to the project library like a crazy person, and I would make deposits and withdrawals and deposits and withdrawals. That was my rule, is if I wanted to take something new out, I had to put something back. And really, I have kept myself focused on, I have a basket that Christy Keith bought me, and it's in the Floss Boss and Cousins. But I do, hi Jen, the bougie stitchers, love them too. But Christy Keith got me a beautiful Amish basket, and it holds a lot. And then I have another little basket for carry keepers, and I have stuck to that. And if I'll swap between those because I really want to make progress with designing and model stitching. I have to keep myself a little bit tighter, even though I like to stitch on lots of things. But anyway, I think this is gonna be beautiful, don't you? I mean, can you just see this beautiful lace grow on that beautiful blue Lugana? And Lugana, I'll tell you, don't ever be afraid of 1/1 if you use an even weave, because the even weave keeps it from sliding under, and it just really is much easier. So that's why, so this will equal 56 count in the end of the day doing this 1/1. And I'm just using B5200 from DMC for this. Yeah, and so I got a start on that in Florida. And let's see. Oh, okay. Where did that piece go? I just, oh, okay. I thought that was a bag for a piece and it's not. Okay, so that's one work in progress. I've been doing 1/1 on 28 count Lugana, Christmas night, and I believe it's Rogue Atomic Ranch. And Arlene Cohen, you can buy her patterns PDF or you can buy them hard copy, exquisite lace, and it is absolutely exquisite. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, so that's project number 1. Project number 2, when I was out at Prairie Moon Primitives, I had a wonderful participant. Her name is Amy, and she and another participant, and her channel, I believe she hasn't filmed in a long time. Always Amy or Almost Amy. I'll put that right here. I'll headline it and I'll put it in the description box. But she and a beautiful stitcher there got connected, and then they connected with another person in Texas, Susie Q Stitches. She's on Instagram, and they're doing a stitch along. And so they had told the story on Instagram about how the connection was made because of the retreat, and I got tagged in it, and I got all excited. I was like, oh, well, I'm going to stitch that with you. And it is Pretty in Pink by Shakespeare's Peddler. Isn't that beautiful? Teresa Vinette does a beautiful, beautiful job. And I am stitching this with all the called for colors, and I am part of the Farm Girl Dry Goods Patreon, and well, this isn't one of her linens, but I got it from Farm Girl Dry Goods. I do have a piece of Farm Girl Dry Goods that I'm going to show you because of the Patreon. Excuse me. This Fiber on a Whim Milk and Honey, I bought it from Farm Girl Dry Goods using all the called for colors, and I started at the bottom and I got the vase, and funny enough, listen to me, when this is full coverage, that's a whole lot of stitching, friends. And I got halfway up the vase because I wanted to place the vase and not, oh, would you really, it would be awful if you did all of those flowers and no. So, and I cut my fabric down. So I got to start on that. That actually is several evenings worth of stitching, if you can believe it. But, you know, fill in, you know how that goes. And I have it in this little bag. I think I carry every time this was in a Tiger Lily Designs for her Keeper Club. And I love look at that stitch, floss, linen count, sampler hoop. Isn't that cute? It's the perfect bag to house a little project. But again, that's Fiber on a Whim, Milk and Honey. I'm stitching it 1 thread over 2 linen threads on Milk and Honey, and the pattern is Pretty in Pink by Shakespeare's Peddler. Okay, so I worked on that. Then this, it's not gonna look like any progress, let me tell you, but it's progress. I'm showing you everything, whether I did a little or a lot. Anything that my needle touched this month or this week since I've seen you, I'm showing you. What I stitched on next was a peacock, a unicorn, and a badger. My friend Hobbies of Holly and Carrie and everybody, the peacorn, everybody, I had to jump on the crazy train. And so I'm using all of the called for DMCs, and I'm using, Carrie dyed my linen, and look, she made me this. I showed you that before. Isn't it pretty? So she made me this bag, so I match her. A peacorn, a unicorn, and a badger by the Scarlet Letter, stitching it with all the called for DMCs, 1 thread over 2 linen threads, 36 count linen. You can't buy this because Carrie custom dyed it, but what I showed you this last time, and I had outlined it. The only thing that I had done last time was outlined it. Well, I filled in the little eyes there, and yeah. fill-in is fun, but you know, sometimes that full coverage, you just, you know, it just doesn't look like much. So I filled in the circles. I have 3 more circles there to fill in for that. And so I was just filling in comfort stitching. And so I worked on that. Doesn't seem like a lot, but my needle touched it. So I thought you'd want to see it. And then I pulled out an old whip, you know, I hadn't worked on this. I had it because I think about it all the time. I have my tracker card in here. I started this in 2022. Not much was done on it. Let me just say that. This is the Quaker Bluebird Sampler by Willow Hill Samplings. This is a absolutely, I'm going to try to get this so that you can see it. It's on a darker linen and it's a solid blue, so it's a monochromatic, and a blue is my favorite color. I am using 32 count Picture This Plus Ale, and I'm using DMC 930. And this just screams my name all the time, and I hadn't touched it in so long. I had these letters in the corners and the 2 lines, and part of I had started the skeleton of the motif. Well, I finished the whole cartouche, and then I put the bird inside of it. But I am doing 2 threads over 2 linen threads, which I never do that. I always do 1 thread over 2, even on, I don't care what count. But I think I really wanted to bring that beautiful blue out on this dark linen. And so just kept screaming my name. You know, when things scream your name, then you get the most comfort out of them, don't you? And I needed it. And I was like, I'm going to get that thing out, because I kept thinking about it day after day after day. And so anyway, I got the cartouche done. So I had the bones of the outside of it, finished the extra, and then did the bird on the inside. So that was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that. Again, it's on 32 count Picture This Plus Ale with DMC 930, stitching 2 threads over 2 linen threads. And it is Quaker Bird Sampler by Willow Hill Samplings. I hope you can see that good. So I worked on that. I was slightly crazy, so you're going to hear me say comfort stitching a lot, because I needed some comfort stitching, because I felt like a chicken with my head cut off running around here with all that's been going on. And so I had another comfort stitch, and that is, you know, this is one of my faves, and that is Jane Parsons by the Wishing Thorn. Let me find the cover. Here we go. Jane Parsons by the Wishing Thorn, Birgit Tolman. She did such a beautiful job on this. And I am stitching this. I bought this as a kit from Birgit, and I'm going to pull this out because I do have the little tag in here. I did have the tag. I hope that I didn't lose it. It's a 28 count linen. Oh my goodness, I think I did. I had it. It's a cashel linen. I think it was called Clay. I don't know if Birgit dyed that or not, but I did some work on Jane Parsons. I'll tell you what I did. I had the cartouche done, and if you notice, she had done this so that it was 1/1 in there, and so she did it so you could do it without 1/1, or you could do it with 1/1, and it would just say Jane Parsons 1841 for the one that did not, that was done over 2. And so I am using the wools, and I love the wools. As a matter of fact, I was discussing an upcoming reproduction today. I am going to reproduce a sampler that I have. Oh, it's so pretty. It has sheep. And I said, there has to be a Antique Needleworkers reproduction that's done in wool. I love these. These are a Vera Soie, and they are called Fine D'Auberson wools. And I bought this as a kit, so this came with my kit. But anyway, I wanted to put my own initials in there. So what I did was I centered the 2025, and then to fit my initials so they wouldn't touch this berry, I separated them with a little motif. And that little motif right there, I'll tell you, you'll see in my patterns, I love the little motifs to either be quilt related or weaving related. If you see this, that would, if you were weaving a twill, this would be what is called a bird's eye weave. This little motif, that's what a bird's eye twill looks like. And so I was like, how am I gonna separate my initials? And so I came down from the crown and centered my middle initial. And then but I didn't want to bump into the berries coming down, so I separated it with that bird's eye twill. You learn a little something new every time you come here. So that's that motif is from my weaving. So I worked on that, and then down here in this corner, the bottom, let me show you the pattern. The bottom is all full coverage right through here. And it's multiple colors. And so I worked on some of that. I did this section right here, and I put that flower. So I got about an inch and a half, maybe 2 inches across, and about maybe an inch down, and then put another flower in the bottom. So I put my initials in, I put the year in, and I got about an inch, 2 inches done of the full coverage. And so I worked on that. Again, this linen is 28 count because you have to do that for wool because it's too tight if you don't. Using the fine D'Aubersons by Averissois. And I'm going to use those when I do my reproduction that I love so much with the sheep on it. And I do a woolly, I'm going to do it with these same wools. So I was discussing, I was on a business meeting about that this morning. So anyhow, I worked on that. And then, you know, I had just discussed with you the free pattern on my website called Friends that I made to be an accompaniment to the Summer Biscornel. And that was created, the pattern, I created it because I was creating a pattern to give a gift to Carrie. And I wanted it to be something for her. That was for her when she got here in June. I didn't want to buy her something and stick it on her bed. I wanted to make her something and stick it on the bed. And then of course, Carrie and I love to share everything with you. So I created the pattern and did that, and she owns the model. Not me, because it was her gift. So I wanted to have it. So I stitched it for myself, and I used all of those threads that come in my thread kit, and it's on 36 count Needle Bling Designs Heirloom. And I got my copy of it. So you'll see this as a fully finished in the next video or two, because I bought the same box, which is listed on the free pattern. I got it at Hobby Lobby. I put the picture you will see on the pattern on the website. It's sitting, this is mounted on a box, and I got it at Hobby Lobby, and I painted it. And on the pattern, I give you the model number for the box and the color number for the paint. And so I need to mount mine, and then we'll have twinsies, and maybe we'll be quadruple C's. Maybe you'll show yours on social media. So if you have stitched Friends and gotten this from my website, I would love for you to tag me on social media and hashtag it AntiqueNeedleworkers so that I can see it. I would love to see it. So anyway, I stitched my own, so because I didn't have one. So I started and finished that since I saw you. And then, oh, my sweet friend Jackie Ahlstrom, Comfort Stitching. I had told you that she had inspired me and she is stitching the Beatrix Potter Quaker from Stitchy Box samplers. And she showed how she was using all different kinds of golds. And so I was like, oh, I love that. And then I had to jump on the box and get there and get that. And so I showed you last time that I did a motif. I done another whole motif, and it was a big one. I'm stitching mine on 46 count Zweigart cream, and I'm using a host of different golds. I'm going to talk about my threads in a minute because I did have a request to talk about my threads, and I will talk about that. And I've kind of made a little decision about some things, but I'm loving how it's going. The last time I showed you this motif with the palm tree looking, but this one I did the big beautiful flower in that cartouche. Isn't it beautiful? And it looked, I mean, this is 46 count, so that's actually a very big motif for 46 count. It took, oh, I don't know. I think it took me like a week to stitch that. So anyway, but it is just beautiful. One thread over 2 linen threads. And as I said, 46 count Zweigart cream. Now let me talk about my threads because I was asked to please share. And so I'm going to do a little chitty chat, talkity talk about my threads that I have right here, right now. I may add some, I may not add some, but what I have is I went through my silks because I wanted it to all be silk. And I have a combination of Belsois silks. I have a combination of Soie d'Alger's, and I have some 103s. I will tell you, I will show you each one. Let's begin with the Soie d'Alger's. This is Soie d'Alger 3834. I have that in my bag. 3834. I have a Soie d'Alger 525 in my bag. I have Soie d'Alger 4244. Now, Soie d'Alger is by Avera Soie. They make 103s, but this is their Soie d'Alger, and it comes in a skein, not a spool. And so this is 4244 Avera Soie d'Alger. And then I have Avera Soie d'Alger 524. I have Belsois Cake. It's a yellowy gold. I also have Belsois Scarecrow. I like that color a whole lot. And then I have Belsois by Classic Colorworks, Her Crown. That's what I did the last motif in, and I talked about that, the one that had the palm tree looking one. And then the next 3 are Avera Soie 100.3s, and I have number 455. And it's a coppery, dirty old gold. And then this is a very bronzy, deep gold. It's 576. Of course, it's crusty. Antique Needleworkers. I love everything that looks old. And then the motif that I show. Oh, wait a minute. I have 2 more here. And then I have 4 to show you. This is number 425. And then the motif that I finished and showed you today, the flower in the cartouche. This one right here. This right here. I stitched that with Avera Soie 103, and this is number 022. And I'm gonna tell you, I love this color, and I've made a decision. I think that I wanna do the bulk of this pattern with this color, and then dot the other ones amongst it. And that way, that it has an anchor color. Does that make sense to you? So as I stitched this, I was like, oh, I love that color. And it looks so good, but I wouldn't want just one color. I want to add the other golds that I showed you, but I think I'm going to do the bones with the 022 and then acquiesce around it with the other golds. Tell me in the comments what you think about that. But this is going to be the color of the bones, like, and then all the other ones dotted around it. I think that that'll be little pops and it'll give it a cohesiveness. But I want your opinion. Tell me what you think. And that is the last thing I cross stitched. So I did touch a lot of things. I've done a ton of model stitching, a ton. I have my fall pieces for next month ready for you. The 2 pieces, the one I did today and the one that's coming out. I have Christmas pieces. I've been, I can't tell you many details about it, but I've been asked to do, there's a group for, that are doing a compiled, there's a group of designers that are doing a piece, and each one of us have a part to it for market next year. Got an invitation to be a part of that. So excited. Got doing an exclusive again around the first of the end of the year. Just so much. So with all that going on, I still got a lot of stitching done, but wait till you see what all the other stuff. So that is my cross stitch that I've done. Now, I have 2 ladies in the baby group that are pretty new to the group. And one of them is a crocheter, and one of them wants to be a quilter. And so I am preparing to teach them quilting lessons. And I've gone over a little bit with them and showed them some things, but I was preparing. I'm doing a quilt from each of my grandkids for Christmas. And I thought no better time than the present. I'm going to use that as my teaching tools to teach these ladies to quilt. And so what I'm teaching them is string quilting. I'm going to tell you that for baby group, for me to be able to, I'm the administrator and the lead minister for it. I do deliveries. I do all the paperwork for it. I organize for everybody. I still make for it, but I am very strategic about what I make because my time, I have to keep my time very organized to be able to do all the things that I do. So one of my favorite quilts to make, which I can sit down, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. I sat down and did these in under an hour, and I just that's the thing. I sit down, and it's a comfort thing to stitch these, to do a string quilt. My favorite way to do a string quilt is what they call the garden trellis pattern, and I'll explain all that as I show you that. So I started my granddaughter's quilt, and what I mean by the garden trellis, do you see the blue stripe? Well, you take and you put 2 of these together and it's the top of the garden trellis. But then if you put it together the other way, for the bottom 2 blocks and go like that, it's the bottom of the trellis. So if you hook 4 of them together, do you see what I mean? And so I started working on these, and you do this foundation paper piecing wise. You don't even have a pattern on these. If you get these papers, I think you get 100 in a pack from Missouri Star Quilt Company. I will put a link for them down below, and you just sew the middle strip down on one side, and then you add, another strip, and then another strip, and then another strip. Then you work the opposite way, and then it looks like a total wreck. And then you flip it over and take it to your cutting table, and without cutting the paper, you use your ruler and you go around the edges, and voila, it's this amazing block. I don't even have to follow a pattern, nothing like that. The little old ladies that taught me to quilt, they'd always, I hope not to offend anybody, but they would say, the best way to quilt is to keep it simple, stupid. I love them. I miss them so bad. I miss them so bad, and I've realized I'm turning into the little old lady teaching people things. And so I tell them, I hope not to offend you, but I'm going to teach you the way that they taught me. And they'd say, keep it simple, stupid. And so anyway, you all understand what I mean. I don't mean that offensively. So anyway, this is going to be my granddaughter's garden trellis string quilt. Aren't those pretty? I'm using a I'm using, these are Jelly Rolls 2.5-inch strips, and these are Color Calypso by Canvas Studio. And I bought these a very, very, very long time ago. So this is Color Calypso is the pattern, and it's in the berry colorway. And it's by Canvas, and that's with a K, K-A-N-V-A-S, Canvas Studio. I don't even know if you can get this anymore. This was in my stash. I bought it a couple years ago when I went to Paducah to the Quilt Museum, and I went to Hancock's, beloved Hancock's, the original Hancock's. The family still owns it. They didn't sell it when they sold the collection. Or sold the stores. And then I'm using 2.5-inch strips for my solid to do the center strip that makes the trellis in the garden trellis. And this is a Riley Blake basic fabric collection, and it's called Riley Aqua Solid. Riley Aqua Solid. And it's in a lovely Longaberger basket, and I just sit, and I'm going to show you some more baskets because they're in part of my acquisitions. But anyway, I worked on that and I got 4 blocks done, and I do have another set upstairs. As a matter of fact, hold one moment and I'll show you. Okay, I'm back. I should have brought these down. So I didn't connect these yet because I wanted to show my students how to do this on a singular block. But I'm doing another one. I'll show you this. This is gonna be half acquisition. I bought 3 new baskets from my very, very favorite basket maker, 1803 Ohio Farm Baskets, Anne Frank. So I bought this basket. I keep strips, 2.5-inch strips. Every time I use a jelly roll or I have 2-inch strips, I had them in just a dollar store basket, but I put them in a proper basket. So I make these string quilts for baby group all the time because you can do, 5 across and 5 down and blocks. And so you got 25 blocks and you make a very simple quilt. And you can, but I keep this is my string quilting basket. I've had it going for years because it's the easiest way for me to be able to get quilts done. And so I threw some blocks together so that they would be together to show my students. And I think I'll make this one for me because I never keep anything for myself. But this, when you add them together, do you see the garden trellis right there, the white? And this is what a string quilt ends up looking like. And then if you put another one next to it, then the trellis just grows. You see, I can't really hold them all up. But so I have some examples that I did to show my students what it would look like, and then so I could lay them out on the table for them. And and you keep the papers on, and then you tell a grandkid to come and rip it all off. It's so, so simple. It's just like, you use a small, see, it just rips right off. And it's really fun for kids to do, or to sit and watch TV and peel your papers off. But it makes for precision quilting and no following a pattern. And so I did these blocks to put together so they could see them singularly, and then they could see them conjoined, and then I could put a couple sets of those together and show them how it begins to build. So I did that. So yes, acquisition. This is part of my haul, this basket. Do pay attention, it's beautiful. She puts nice wood on the bottom, sturdy handles. She's the most magnificent basket maker. I can't love Anne Frank from 1803 Ohio Farm Baskets more. She is just an amazing artisan. As a matter of fact, she's one of the hosts for Threadworks Fair, which is, I'm going to talk to you about that at the end of the video if you haven't heard about that. But I'm going to be teaching at an event, and I'm going to tell you at the end of this video about that. But anyway, she is one of the hosts of the event. So anyway, I did that. So that's an acquisition and a whip. My sock basket, my sock knitting bag. You've seen this. I made one for Carrie and one for my sweet friend Lisa Duffin, Lady Huzzah Presents, so we could all stitch the same set of socks together. So I made us one, a bag to match out of an old quilt. And inside of it, I have my pattern for the Crazy Sock Lady Kay Linton Butterfly Kisses sock. And I've showed this. I only got to, I knit about an inch on this sock, so it really doesn't look much different. I'm using this yarn. This is from Leap of Faith Yarns. And the colorway, let me grab the colorway really quick. Ooh, I should have been a little bit better prepared for that. Here it is. It is Fruit Punch with a Twist. And I have it on my little yarn caddy. And I got about an inch more on the foot. So I'm moving right along. So I didn't have any more time to do that, but I did get an inch on it, and I'm showing you everything I touched. Aren't the butterflies in there cute? I think that the colorway really brings out the pattern. Of course, my Shellie heel. There's video in my list, Shellie's sock heel that I do. And I got about an inch done on that. So I did a little knitting. As well, I have been doing, I started a new crochet blanket. I have my Christmas blanket I need to finish. But with all of our crafts, there's always whips involved, right? But at our baby group meeting, one of our wonderful members, her name is Karen Stoutenberg. She is a crochet machine. She comes in every month with full-size blankets. I mean, she can come in with 5 and 10 full-size blankets and baby blankets at the same time. It's shocking. And so she had done a mile a minute blanket. And one of the new ladies that I had mentioned that's a crocheter, she happens to be a very good friend of mine and my family's. And she is a crocheter too. And she, after the soiree, she sent me a little text, and she said, oh, look. And she was showing me that it was a mile a minute like Karen's. And she said she inspired me to get this old whip out. Well, I loved her colorways. And so she showed me a picture. It's an old Leisure Arts. It was a Leisure Arts Little Books pattern. I had to get online and get a PDF because I couldn't even find it on the secondary market. This is not a new pattern. So Leisure Arts has it as a PDF, or you can go on Ravelry and they've got it as a PDF. And there's 5 models of this mile a minute blanket in here, but this is the particular one that I am doing. And it is called, it's the pattern number 1 in the book. It's the front cover pattern. It's called Blue Skies. And I was so inspired as well, because between Karen's sharing at the soiree and then Kamala sharing hers, I was like, oh my gosh. And Kamala, our newest member, my dear friend, she did hers in navy. It's the exact colors, but she used a navy instead of just this country dark blue. She did a navy, a cream, and a light blue, and it was so pretty. And I want to do one of those for me, but I wanted to make one of these for one of my children. And so I am doing this in gray, aqua, and cream. And I mean, it's going to be a big old blanket. And I've got 2 of these strips done. I'm going to fold it in half. Well, maybe I'll fold it in fourths so that I can get it. I'm going to have to fold it in 4 to get it all in frame. But this is the pattern, what it'll look like. And then what you do, I've got another one done as well. I was able to get 2 big long strips. I'll tell you the measurements on this. The length on this is 72 inches and it'll be 54 wide. So these are both 72-inch long strips. And then you join them together. And the ends are, this is the back side. The ends are kind of rounded. And so when you join them, it has these round ends. Look at my, I'm showing you the back side. And then you do a finishing technique over the ends. But I wanted to make this for one of my children. And so I got going because I had the yarn right here. And the light blue is, I love this yarn from Hobby Lobby in the colorway Glacier. And the other one, the cream is Ivory by, I love this yarn. But I had, this is a big blanket and it calls for a lot of yards of the main color, and I had 2 pounds of love. I had 2 of these, and this is Lion brand. It's a pound of love, and the color is Oxford Gray. And so I had these, and I was like, I had all of that in my stash. And so I like I said, I'm doing this as a gift for one of my children. And so I thought that all 3 of my children's homes, this would look good in any of their homes. But so yeah, so I got 2 72-inch strips done in crochet. So I've knitted, I've crocheted, I have quilted on machine, and I've quilted by hand, and I'm going to show you that next. But this was my crochet, which I feel a little guilty. I want that Christmas Afghan done. So I need to maybe put this down and work on that and then come back to this, because I'd like to have that done and show that on the couch for Christmas. But in the meantime, isn't that going to be just beautiful? So I did some crocheting as well. And I'm going to show you. It's in one of my baskets from Ann. Would you look at this basket? Now, she doesn't always have handles like this. This is a custom handle. And she was going to a rug hooking. The way I found the baskets that I bought from Ann, she had made a post on social media. She was heading out to a rug hooking event, and she was vending there, and she showed this basket. She showed the basket that I showed you that I have the strips in, and then she showed this swing handle basket. See, and you can move that. And could put anything, and I immediately text her and say, yes, please. And I was like, oh, if you don't sell those at market at your little event, can you put my name on them? And she said, I have more than one. I'll put your name on them now. So anyway, check out 1803 Ohio Farm Baskets. She is amazing. And look at this. And this is a hand-done handle that just everything about what Ann does is amazing. So those were acquisitions, but it was the perfect and appropriate time to show you that. Then the last thing that I have to show you of my whips is I had showed on social media that I wanted to do a quilt for my Florida house. I also wanted to be able to do a project that I could do in the car and see, and that I didn't need anything. So hand piecing was it for me. Well, I have wanted to do a Manx, M-A-N-X. It's called Manx. If you are not familiar with that word, that is the word that is associated with people who come from the Isle of Man. And they have a technique of quilting that, it was funny, I posted it and someone messaged me and said, I think you're mistaken, that's a log cabin. And I said, you know, that is very, very astute of you, and it's very close, but it's not. It's different. The log cabin quilt block looks something similar to this, right? But the difference is this is a set size because you're foundationing it onto a foundation block. This is white muslin is what I have on the back. It does look very much like a log cabin, but it is not at all. And this is a Manx quilt. And the way that you make a Manx quilt, this is my travel basket. I am going to put it in a proper nice basket, but this was my travel basket because I went in Florida to the local quilt shop called Rainbow's End. Love that it's in Clearwater. I am so fortunate that within 6 minutes of my home is the Crafty Framer, and within maybe 10-15 minutes from my house, it's really Clearwater Beach. Downtown Clearwater Beach is 12 minutes from my house, and this is just a few minutes farther than that. But I went there and I picked up a, I'm going to tell you what I'm doing this with, and I'm going to tell you how actually to do this. I bought some layer cake squares, which are 10-inch squares that were already cut. And then I bought a bunch of different fabric, Tim Holtz fabrics that I love. Look at some of these. It looks like a ledger. These look like old stamps or advertisements. This is old advertisements. Look at the corsets. This is more ledgers in a different color. This one is like ephemera. Isn't it neat? And then Carrie had given me, when I got home, I cut some more. Carrie had given me for my birthday a beautiful fat quarter, Riley Blake fat quarter bundle, and I cut them down to 2-inch strips. Beautiful, beautiful blue fabrics. And I was so excited because since she gave it to me, I had really, really, really wanted to use some of the fabrics from my birthday fabrics. And so what you do is, the way a true traditional for real Manx quilt is made. I want to show you some more of these fabrics. Look at that. Doesn't that look like cross stitch, a sampler? Well, anyway, the way that you do a Manx is you take one solid block. That's wrinkly, hold on. It's been in my basket. Okay, so you take a block, and what is so neat about this, I'm going to link below a video for you because this is just an amazing thing. You don't even need but a pair of scissors, your thread, and your needle, and you can make this whole quilt block. Because, you know, you would snip the edge and tear it on the grain. But what you do is you use your hand and the span of your hand. What is the span of your hand? The longest finger is the middle finger. And so mine fingers across are like it's 7.5 inches. And so to make your middle square, whatever is the span of your hand. So let's just say I've got a pair of scissors, my handy dandy Karen K. Buckley scissors right here. So let's say if I was going to do this the official way, I would come to my fabric and I would take my hand and I would see what the span of my hand was, and then I would make a snip in my fabric, and this is how they do it. You would rip it on there, and then to get the other side, you would get the span of your hand and you would snip it, and then this would be the size of your block. That's how you get your foundation. And then the way that you knew how to, hold on just a second. No, that's for the back block. This is for the back block. But for your center block, which this is your back block, and this is your center block, okay? The way they decided how big the center block, which is where you start, I've got some center blocks, okay? They would hold it up against their finger, and you see, my middle finger is 3.5 inches. And so you would cut your middle block 3.5 inches. Isn't that cool? And then for your strips, to know how far your strips needed to be, they would take their hands and they would come up to the nail bed, the length from the knuckle, they would hold it like this, put a little snip and rip it because it was the length of their thumb. That's how you get the size of your strips. Well, I was going for ease and I didn't do it the absolute traditional way. I got 10-inch squares because I wanted size. I did use the width of my finger, and then my strips are the length of my thumb. So I'm somewhat traditional. And what you do is you fold this middle block and find the middle place, and then you place your center square down. And then almost exactly like a log cabin, you start with a light fabric right here. So I would pick a light fabric and I would just lay it down on there, make a snip and rip it, and then take that face to face and I would sew it on there. But what you do, one of the things that you do when you get your center block on is you make tram lines. You fold your fabric twice up to your block and then crease it on all 4 sides. And when you do that, it makes these tram lines. Do you see them? And so when I take my first square and I've sewn my first strip on there, I fold it up to the tram line and I'm done with my first strip. Does that make sense? And so it would look something like that. And so, want to see something neat? Each and every one of these are just folded up, and they're folded up, and they're folded up. See how different that is? Then so it's almost like these pleats, but they stay in place. And so when you sew them on, look at the back. You're quilted already. Do you see? There's no batting, or for you people in the UK, there's no wadding, but you're sewing it directly onto this piece. That's one of the things that makes it very different than a log cabin. Yes, it has the same look of it, but there's no batting. But it has a brevity, a heft to it. And so, and then the other thing is you can only be as big as the block you get, but you can keep on going. If you're making a log cabin, you can just keep on going around and around and around, but not for a Manx. It's however big this is because you're sewing it onto the foundation of your backing fabric. And so then you take, and when you want to put them together, you fold this open. Okay, so you got your backing and then your piece, and you take and you fold open another one like this, and you put the 2 fronts together, and you sew along that line. And then when you're done with that, you lay it flat, and then you fold the back to a piece over the other piece and then stitch it down, and voila, you're hand doing an entire quilt. And these are so much fun. I've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of them since I last saw you. They are so much fun. So much fun. And it's a comfort thing. I'm able to do it in the car. I can sit and watch TV, you know, keeping it simple, like my old ladies taught me to, and just getting a quilt for my new Florida house. There has to be an Afghan. That's why I want to do a mile a minute, but I want to do it in the navy blue, the light blue, and the cream, like my friend is doing hers. This one is for a child, but so I'm going to do them mile a minute, the next mile a minute, and this is for the Florida house. And so now, those are all the things I've stitched on. I got a lot done. I mean, for somebody who's been busier than a one-arm paper hanger, I think I still got a lot of time with the needle outside of my model stitching and designing, don't you think? Okay, so now let's look at the acquisitions. We're about an hour and a half, but I sure did miss you. I had a lot to tell you. So let me put that over there and get this out of the way. And let me show you some things that I've received. Okay, the first thing, I'm gonna sit this over here because now I gotta get it up off the floor. I am part of Tiger Lily Designs Keeper Club, and I'm sure that you've seen them because a lot of people have already gotten them. But the July Keeper Club came out, and I told Carrie, I said, oh, I say they're all my favorite. I want to just say again, they're my favorite. This one's my favorite, but I'm kind of biased because she did it with butterflies. Isn't it beautiful? And then my sweet girl, she created her own pattern to go with it. And then she had Jersey Girl Stitch Co., which you know does all my pins. They made beautiful pins to go right along with her design. And she gave you some backing fabric, the Rick Rack. She gave you her favorite Lori Holt needles. They're the size 28 cross stitch Lori Holt Be in My Bonnet needles. And then she gave you some thread drops and the thread to stitch her little beautiful pattern. Be your own beautiful. You know what? She is her own beautiful. Isn't it wonderful? She did a great job. And so that was Carrie's keeper. And I want to talk about Carrie really quick here. I don't know if you've seen it. If you're not part of her Patreon, you can join for free. But go join her Patreon. She is going to be doing a quilt along, and it is absolutely stunning. I got the email and I hit pay please immediately. She is using the new Edita Sitar from Laundry Basket Quilts Songbird quilt line, fabric line. Oh, it is stunning. And she's doing a quilt along and a teach along, and you know, Carrie does such a wonderful job. You're going to get the fabric. You're going to, if you buy the kit, and the kit is, I think it's $195. I'm going to put a link to it here in the description box. Oh my gosh, get a kit. You can buy fat quarter bundle. You can buy just the, get in on the pattern. You're gonna get if you get the kit, you get the lock block quilt square, which makes making churn dashes, easy. That's one of my favorite. I love the old traditional blocks, but it's just gonna be a beautiful quilt along. Go check out her Patreon, link will be below. Go look at her kit. You can buy the Songbird fat quarter bundle from her, but you can buy the whole kit all as one. It's under $200. You can't beat it. And so anyway, I want you to go and check out that with Carrie, because it's going to be fun, and she's going to have weekly videos and all the things. And you know that she does nothing small. She does everything excellent. So go and check it out. Link below. Okay, that being said, look at this beautiful box. Do you see what that says? This is the Jane Austen quilt pattern kit from the Fat Quarter Shop. I am so excited because there are different patterns that have been put together to do the Jane Austen. And if you see, isn't it beautiful? But this is a million zillion little tiny diamonds to put together. Fat quarter is Riley Blake. Amazing. They came out with the fabric, so you didn't have to do that border. You can just quilt along the lines and it looks just like you did that. But of course, you got to do all the bigger diamonds and do the whole quilt kit. It came with the Riley Blake template. This is the fabric kit, and all the fabric to do all of these diamonds in the inside. And I love the Jane Austen quilt, and I'm so excited to stitch on this. And so I bought this kit from Fat Quarter Shop. I'll put a link below for that. But look at this presentation. It looks like the book, doesn't it? It's just amazing. And your whole quilt kit fits in there. But I was just so excited because to be honest with you, Jane Austen, they really did. They all made this quilt. And if you see this is the reason why I've never, ever got the quilt kit from anybody who has done the quilt kit, because I don't want to English paper piece 10 zillion 1-inch diamonds. I just didn't want to do it. And then when they showed this and they had done the fabric for the border, I said, yes, please, I can handle all the other diamonds. Heck yeah, I can. So basically you just have to do your whole center and then put your border on. And then if you want to highlight each and every one of those, you just quilt along the lines, and it looks like you've done it. But Riley Blake, you rock, you did it in fabric. So I'm so excited about this. So I will put a link for this in the description box. Look at the original quilt right there. Isn't it just stunning? And you do get the medallion for the middle of this in your fabric for that quilt kit. So beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So excited about that. That's another thing. And while we're talking about, I just mentioned English paper piecing, there is a maker on Etsy. Her name is Mickis Craft Bags. She makes all kind of bags, and she happened to show this on social media. And she has created this out of this beautiful Lori Holt quilt fabric. Want to see what's so neat about the inside? She's made this specifically. So, all right, so she made me a little thing I'll show you in a minute. But so you've got the pouch here, then you open it up 4 ways, and it opens up like this. So you got all those pouches. And then in the center, you have all of these other pouches. Well, let me try to show you this. And it's so that you can English paper piece and hold all of your things. This is an origami work of art that Mickey has done. Just beautiful. She did make me a beautiful, as a gift for buying her beautiful bag, she made me a needle book and sent it along so it matched. I love that. I'm half wondering, you know, I always have English paper piecing going, but I had half wondered if I wouldn't put my Manx blocks in here and put my pieces, but this is just so well appointed for English paper piecing to put all the your different. So I don't know, but I had to have this bag because it's just so neat. It's got a Velcro toggle here for these little ones, and you can take them off. You see they've got the little, so there it's pouch on pouch on pouch on pouch inside of this one. You could take a whole quilt to do right here. I'll put a link to Mickey's Etsy shop down below in the box, but I just love this. No matter what you put in this, you could even, listen, cross stitch, you could put little projects. All your smalls could fit in each one of those little bags. Think about how much you could stick in here. This is a small project library for small projects, if ever I saw one. I mean, look, you've got 1 here, 2, 3, and then 4, and just the main pieces. And then you could put 3 more small projects. I don't know. I think that this is a multi-purpose basket and a half to do all kind of things with. I just couldn't help myself and had to get it because I was just like, oh, well, first I was drawn in because I love anything Lori Holt in this beautiful fabric. But then I was like, oh, you could put everything. You could actually put a whole bunch of quilting and stitching in here. I don't know. Think about it. Okay, so I bought that. Then my Piecework magazine came. You know that I absolutely love this magazine. You should be getting it. I don't care what you do. There's rug punch, there's knitting, there's tatting, and you know I tat too. Any type of handwork, if it's piecework, whatever type of handwork in the world is in there. If you are a hand worker, there's something in this magazine for you. I love this. There's rug hooking, rug punch, anything you do with your hands, it's in Piecework. Get your Piecework magazine. I can't tell you enough about that. Then the Stitchery, of which Sean, has the Periwinkle Stitcher has totally got all of us gaga over. Okay, so I bought another kit to do another heart. This is what my heart that I did for my daughter. This is the kit. Let's open it so you see what you get. So it's very well appointed. It comes like this. But I wanted to do another one and I wanted it to be exact. So I just bought myself another kit. So what comes inside? So it looks like this, except for it slipped up just a little bit. It looks like this on the inside. So you get your threads. I mean, look at these. These look almost white, don't they? And then the design is literally on your fabric. And then you get a little instruction on some other pages that come in here. So very nice. You get everything that you need. You just need your needle and go, and your hoop if you're hooping it. And so anyway, I bought another heart so that I could do another one of these. I want to do another old Colonial box for me and have that. Then they did this. This is the strawberry post, and it's a scrumptious collection of strawberry inspired projects. And then here's some more projects that are in here on the back. But this is a book, and then I bought the pumpkin post, which is in pumpkin form, the same type of premise. That's multiple patterns in here for different things. Oh, look, I think there's even a cross stitch. I can't show you the inside, but this is the pumpkin post. Look at this. I got that. Then I got a Floral Year Peony Season. This is called Beautiful Solitude. Beautifully appointed. And this one is called Wildflower Bouquet Embroidery Kit. And so I bought these kits. They're beautiful. I love the shabby chic, beautiful. I like, listen, it looks old to me. It looks crusty. It's not crusty, dusty, primitive, but it's shabby, crusty, you know? And so I love them. And so I got back on and bought some more things from them. And then, okay, so that's the Stitchery. I'll put a link for the Stitchery's website below. And then, you know, I'm part of the Queen City Sampler Guild. I sit on the board, and we just had a class last week that was put on by Sampler Bird Stitchery. And in honor of our 30th year as a guild, they put together the Queen's Crowned Pincushion and Flower Garden pins. You aren't going to be able to get this. I'm showing you this because this is why, you know, these are the amazing things that you get to do when you're part of the guild. You made this pincushion, and then my set is in the blue flowers, but you made the little pins, and each one of those is stitched, and then you made the fob to go with. I got the blue one. And so everything that you need to do this and everything that you need to do this was in this kit. And the only reason why I was able to get this is because I'm part of the Queen City Sampler Guild. You know, in my description box, there's a link to that at all times. And so I just wanted to show you that because this is so the neat things that you get to do when you're part of the guild. Sampler Bird Stitchery, I have done they had a teeny tiny little tomato pin cushion. It's like this fob, but here was a tomato and it was a tomato down here. I did that a while ago and I have that on my scissors. I've showed that before. And so, but this is her version, and then this big pin cushion with the flower pins inside of it. So very pretty. Don't miss out. Being part of the guilds is a wonderful thing. I'm part of the Guild of the Rockies, Tudor Rose, the Willows, Willa Brown out of Texas. She has Willow Tree Sampling Guild, and then of course my own hometown guild, the Queen City Sampler Guild, and I'm very fond of it and very behind it. And so I love education, so I love to be part of those things. And those are the things you get to do when you're part of the guild. Okay, the next thing I got was, you know, I'm part of the Scattered Seed Samplers Pin Keep Club. I will be in perpetuity. I don't care if I get to stitch them all in the rest of my life. I just don't want to be without them. Tammy Black does a fantastic job. And her newest offering was Share and Share Alike. Look at this kit. You get beautiful kits. Everything that Tammy does is just wonderful. If you're not part of the Scattered Seed Sampler Pin Keep Club, you should be. I'll put a link for it below, and you can find her on Etsy. And then, like I said, I went to my local needlework shop when I was in Florida, And I stood there for the afternoon and talked to Miss Peggy, who is the owner of the Crafty Framer. And I did a little shopping while I was there. I bought 2 of these. I bought one for my mother and one for me. And these are little hoops that have been turned into pincushions. Is that not cute? I thought I would put that in my Manx basket. And I'm teaching my mom to Manx quilt. And so anyway, I bought us both one of these pincushions from Miss Peggy. And then I always like to have a gift available. And so these are little, this is like let me open it up and I'll show you. If you haven't seen one of these pin keeps, this is it. The inside has got wool. And so you can slip your needles in, and like if you're doing a cross stitch piece or a quilt piece, you can put a whole bunch of needles together, and then they're all threaded, and then you put your thread to the inside, and then you can just close it up and then tie your bow, and all your needles are safe in there, and they're all threaded and ready for you to go. So I bought a couple of those while I was there because I love to have these little pin keeps for gifts because they're so much fun, whether it's to a quilter or to a cross stitcher. So I bought those. And then I bought 2 patterns from the Crafty Blue Bonnet. I bought America in 1776. As it is our big 250th anniversary, I just wanted to get some things that were simple little designs to stitch in honor of that. I also picked up some Stacy Nash designs to round out my cracker series. I got Henny Penny. Carrie just did that. I got the Christmas sausage Frankie and the Christmas sausage Finley. Aren't they cute? And then I gotta tell you, I think I have this, and if I do, I'll give this away in a future video, but I bought Miss Hazel. I couldn't remember if I had it or not, and I thought, it's okay, because if I have it, I'll just share this with my viewers at a later date. And then I bought the Summer Punch Needle and Primitive Stitcher magazine. I'm gonna pull it out and show it to you. I can't tell you, I forgot to up my subscription, and I keep forgetting, and so if I see it, I just grab them. So I got that, and then I bought Arlene's other lace pattern called Elegant Lace. And so those I bought when I was at my LNS in Florida. Now, I do want to tell you about something that Miss Peggy and Rick, who own the Crafty Framer, I was at the register, and I said to her, Peggy, what are all these trees? And there were all these different trees that were stitched, and they were in different colors. And she said, Shellie, look really close at the tree. And up the side and up the other side, they were words. And it was featured in just Cross Stitch magazine, and I can't remember when. I'm going to try to pop it in here. But anyway, this design was featured, and it said Merry Christmas. I believe it said Merry Christmas. And so they got to know the lady who had created this software that creates these trees, and then the branches of the trees, they make up the words and say whatever you put there. And she started with Merry Christmas. Well, then you could call this designer and tell her whatever you wanted it to say, and she would create this pattern. This software she created would make these tree patterns, and you could have any words you wanted. And I looked at her, I said, that's fabulous. And so I was looking at him, I'm like, oh, that says Smith, that says Johnson, that says, Crafty Framer. I said, I want one that says Antique Needleworkers. And she said, I think that's too long of a word to do a tree. She said, but I'm going to tell Rick. And I said, okay, well, let me pay for that. And so anyway, she said, I'm going to talk to him I'll put your custom order in. And so then I got an email from her and she said, we got your tree done. And she said, but Rick worked really hard and did this great job for you. I can't wait for you to arrive. It's on its way in the mail. Now I can't show it to you because it doesn't have a cover photo. It's just the pattern. But what they did for me, and I'm going to stitch mine in red. I wish I could show it to you, but mine is 2 trees, and one tree, the tree part of it says antique, and the second tree is Needleworkers. So I think what I want to do is do 3 trees, put the Needleworkers tree in the middle and do 2 antiques, one on either side, and it'll be like my own little forest, Antique Needleworkers. But anyway, so neat. And if you want to see about having one done for you, you can go to the Crafty Framers website. They have a listing for it. It will be linked below, and you can go and they can make a tree with any word you want in it too. So anyway, that was so neat. I've gotten just Cross Stitch magazine for years, and I must just not have remembered seeing that when it very first came out. She showed it to me in the shop, but it was just so neat. So very, very neat. And then I got, let's see. Oh, okay, that is it. Oh, hold on just a second. I almost missed one thing. Okay, I've got 2 more things to show you, 3 more things to show you. Okay, so I was talking about Farm Girl Dry Goods. If you're part of her Patreon, you can be part of her Patreon where you get fabric. And I am part of that, and I get 36 count linen. And this fabric for this linen drop is called Twilight. Check out Farm Girl Dry Goods. It's great. You get, you're the first people to get information on her retreats. You can be part of it and get fabric and inside information behind the scenes. Okay, and then my friend Robin Gibbons was at Prairie Moon Primitives, and she messaged me and said, oh, have you seen The Potting House by Pansy Patch Quilts? I said, no. She said, well, get on there and look this up. And she said, it reminded me of your greenhouse. And I said, oh, by golly, it sure does. She said, you want me to be your personal shopper? I said, I don't need fabric. I have plenty of fabric, but yeah. So she took this up to Ginger's employees and said, listen, Antique Needleworkers wants you to charge her for this and mail it to her. So I got The Potting House by Pansy Patch Quilts because it does look like my greenhouse in a lot of ways. I got all of the beautiful called for colors. Thank you, Robin, for being my personal shopper. And I'm going to stitch a greenhouse in honor of my greenhouse. I got that. And then the very last thing I'm going to show you in my acquisitions, and I think I'm done we're at an hour 46, I don't know, almost 2 hours, but we haven't seen each other in a while. Oh gosh, I'm holding my pattern from the Crafty Framer. I shouldn't do this, I shouldn't do this, I shouldn't do this, I shouldn't do this, but I'm going to show you really quick so you have an idea. I'm going to flash it really quick. This is what the trees look like, and it says words. You see, this is antique. I'm not going to show you anymore. This one says Needleworkers in there. He did such a great job. Get on and have a tree made with your name. It's so neat. You could have your family name put on your tree. And if you did it Christmas-wise, you could do your tree green and put red ornaments and a gold star on top, and it would be so neat. And if your name was up it would be like if your last name was Johnson, it would be like for your Johnson's Christmas, right? So cool. Just go look. Anyhow, my sweet Sylvia from Running with Needles and Scissors, my sweet friend, is the exclusive for the Homespun Needlework group on Facebook, and her Mary Pookleston 1832 is the exclusive chart right now. I think you can still get it. Get on that Homespun Needlework group if not. Colorado Cross Stitch shop is the one who is providing the kits. I got 40 count with the NPI silks, and you get this nice little thread keep, and it's just beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Bravo, Sylph. And I'm so proud of her for getting the exclusive. So anyway, this is Mary Pookleston, 1832, by Running with Needles and Scissors, the exclusive for homespun needlework cross stitch group on Facebook. And now I have reached the bottom of the pile, and that was so fun. I needed almost 2 hours with you. I haven't seen you in a hot minute. So those are my whips. Those are all my purchases. Those are all my crazy crafts that I've done all along. That's what I've been up to. That's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to tell you one more thing. And that is, if you have not seen on social media, I have done a lot of posts about it and stories about it, but I was asked to be one of the teachers for an event called Threadworks Fair. It is going to be held at the historic granary in New Harmony, Indiana, next June 2026. There will be 12 people that will be brought in to teach classes. I am teaching a class, and it's on symbolism, and I am going to teach you. I'm going to try not to talk too long. I'm very excited because my class is for 4 hours. My class's name is called Stitching Meaning. I will put a link to the Threadworks Fair website, and you can see all about all of the offerings. There will be classes on Friday morning, Friday afternoon, and on Saturday. Each class will be 3 hours, and each individual teacher is teaching something very, very different, and some you will get kits for, some are just different. You need to go check them out. This is going to be an amazing event. Marilyn Euler, as I had, and Frank of Ohio Farmhouse Baskets are two of the hosts of this. They want to put together an event where we go back to the time where you go and you learn something. First off, the event, there is going to be in the granary a juried event for cross stitch, for counted cross stitch. You can submit your cross stitch work, and they have all kind of different categories, and they are going to jury them, and you can win prizes, and it is amazing. Like I said, there will be classes, there will be vending, and one of the center of their hearts for this event is that we get back to the days where you went and, you know, you're talking about the meat and the bones of things, not just handing you something, but learning something. And my class is called Stitching Meaning. And I was fortunate enough to be given one of the large classrooms, and my class is 3/4 of the way filled up already. So if you are interested in taking my class from me, do get on to Threadworks Fair. Follow the link below. I am a Friday afternoon class. I'll just put the link directly to my class, but do explore the whole website and see what this is all about. But Stitching Meaning, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be teaching on the symbolism that is in our stitching. You know, the colors that are used and the motifs that are used. Often and many times it's not just somebody stitching a pattern. These young schoolgirls put together these things, and they might have been telling you a whole lot about themselves by what they chose. And I'm going to do a historical lecture about these things. I'm going to help you Nancy Drew sleuth using some of my antique samplers, and we're going to have a wonderful time. My class, you will get, it's not a kit per se, but I'm going to call it a kit. You're going to, if you take my class, you are going to get fabric, thread, a hoop, a small set of scissors. You are going to get a set of colored pencils, regular pencils, and graph paper. You are also going to get a wonderful book. As a matter of fact, Let me grab it really quick. I had to run to my office over in the main house to get it, but the other thing that you're going to receive is a copy of Brenda Key's Ultimate Sampler Motif Source Book. So you're going to get this book, you're going to get everything that you need. You're going to have thread, fabric, needles, a pair of scissors, graph paper. You're going to have, I'm also putting together a little thesis to go with this that has some of the information that I'm going to use in my PowerPoint presentation as I discuss the history of these things. And we dig deep into all the things of how the young girls and why they might have chosen colors and motifs and things like that. Some of them might be just very whimsical. Some of them might have been very faith-based. All those things. I'm not even going to get into it because I'll start teaching my class right here. But I'm very excited, and it was so neat. I was just so honored. If you know anything about cross stitch and you've been around for any amount of time, which all of you have, you know that Brenda Keys has been around for so long, and she has contributed so much. I have more Brenda Keys stuff than I can tell you about. But she put together this amazing book that's filled with motifs. And so with that, I am going to sit with my class, and then we're going to discuss how can I help you stitch, meaning a piece of your very own that is yours and yours only, and express yourself with color, the motifs, with mottos, all the things. And I'm going to teach you how to create their very own sampler specific to you. So if one day in posterity someone picks your sampler up and they say, what was she trying to say to me? Who was she? I have a sampler that I'm pretty fond of, because when I Nancy Drew, you know, when I'm looking at it, Blue's Clue in it, you know, and I look at it and I'm like, if she's not saying this, it's a real good story in my head. Because whenever I look at a sampler, you know, these antique samplers, when I look at them, I do not just see motifs on linen. Because the way my brain works, I look at it and I understand that back in time, that everything was symbolic. You know, that is like even today, like my logo that goes onto my patterns. That is a symbol of who I am. And back before there was regular written materials all over the place, and there was no television, and we were talking way back in time, they had coats of arms. And see, I'm starting to teach my class. I'm going to stop. But anyway, so I am so very excited about it. There are some spots left, and I am going to open up a wait list when those last spots are gone. So if you are interested at all in taking coming to New Harmony, Indiana, and going to the Threadworks Fair and taking a class, I would love it if you would be interested in my class. Follow the instructions on the website for Threadworks Fair under the synopsis for my class, and I would love it if you joined me there. And if the spots wear out, do sign up for my wait list, because you know it is next June. Things happen, and people may be able to, you know, people may not be able to make it, and so there could be a spot open up for you. But I'm so thrilled and so honored, because this is right up my lane. I want to talk. My cross stitching and samplers and all of those things, I want to talk about the nuts and bolts about things. I look at these things and I see people's lives in them, and it's so exciting to me. And to be able to sit with you and commiserate about those things, and to just gush on and on and on about these things all day long is just going to be so wonderful for me. And so I've done my very best to put together a wonderful set of tools for you. I already have. It is only August, and this thing is next June, and I already have half of my PowerPoint presentation together. But I did run off on a rabbit trail looking for something the other day, and I was like, oh my gosh, this could be a whole nother section of my class. And I told Carrie, we're gonna have to set a timer to shut me up, because I will be talking the whole time and I won't get to the making. So Anyway, if you are interested in that, do follow the link for Threadworks Fair and join my class. But now I've told you everything, my friends, and it has been a wonderful afternoon for me. I've just so enjoyed being back today. Sorry about that little blip, but I know you know, it's a busy life. And anyhow, but it has been a joy. I thank you so much for joining me. If this was your first time and you like what you've seen, I do hope you'll hit that subscribe button. If you're already subscribed, you don't need to resubscribe. I've had people say, I thought I was subscribed. I said, well, how many times did you subscribe? Every time. And I'm like, well, you keep unsubscribing yourself. So, but if you have liked what you've seen here, do hit the like and subscribe button. That way you'll be kept current with everything I have to share here. And do find me on the social medias. And I have linked below on how to do that. And I hope that you love the new release. Go to my website and check that out. But it's been a wonderful afternoon, my friends, and I think that'll do it for now. But until I see you again, I wish you many happy stitches. Bye-bye now, my friends.